All right, so is Indian Motorcycle in trouble, or are they on the verge of something huge? Big news just dropped. Polaris is selling a majority stake in Indian Motorcycle to a private equity firm called Carolwood LP. This move is raising a lot of eyebrows in the motorcycle world. Some are wondering, is this the beginning of the end for Indian? Or could this be exactly what the brand needs to finally take off? So in this video, I'm going to break it all down for you, what this means, what's changing, and later in the video, I'll share my opinion on whether this is good or bad for Indian and Polaris, and for the motorcycle industry as a whole. Welcome back, Bikeaholics. Ryan Urlacher here, lawabidingbiker.com. I always thank you. That's right, you, for checking back in. So let's start with what's actually happening here. So Polaris announced that they're spinning off Indian Motorcycle into its own standalone company. They're selling a majority stake to Carolwood LP, a private equity firm out of Los Angeles. But Polaris will keep a small equity share, so they're not cutting ties completely. The deal is expected to close in the first quarter of 2026. Pending final approvals. About 900 Indian Motorcycle employees, including engineers, designers, and staff, will transition to the new company. The Spirit Lake, Iowa, and Monticello, Minnesota manufacturing facilities, as well as the Design and Technology Center in Bergdorf, Switzerland, will go with Indian. Essentially, Indian will continue building, designing, and selling bikes under its own name, just without Polaris as a controlling parent. So let's dive into the business side of things a bit. Polaris says this move will sharpen their strategic focus. They want to double down on their biggest profit drivers: off-road vehicles, snowmobiles, and boats. Indian currently makes up only about 7% of Polaris's total revenue, around $478 million over the past year. By selling the majority stake, Polaris expects this to boost earnings per share by about $1 and add around $50 million to annual EBITDA, meaning the move is expected to immediately make them more profitable. If you don't know what EBITDA stands for, it means earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. In short, Polaris is freeing up money and focus to invest in the products that make them the most cash. And I just want to mention real quick that recently Indian sent us a 2025 Indian Roadmaster for long-term review. And so if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and bell icon so you're notified when we drop those videos and a bunch of other videos. Every time that subscribe button and bell icon are hit, another biker joins the revolution. We'd love to have you be part of it. So I guess we should dive in and find out who Carolwood LP is. Carolwood is a private equity firm founded in 2014 in Los Angeles. They focus on long-term investment in brands that are ready to grow. They've actually never sold an asset they've bought. Their goal is to take companies like Indian that were part of a larger corporation and help them thrive independently. So this isn't a slash and sale type of deal, at least on paper. They're saying they're in it for the long haul. And if you're new to the channel, this really is a community of bikers helping bikers and having discussions. So I always look forward to your comments. So leave one below. And so with the news of Indian breaking off from Polaris, they also appointed a new CEO. So Carolwood has already chosen Mike Kennedy to be CEO of Indian Motorcycle once the deal closes. He's a 30-year motorcycle industry veteran who's been CEO of Rumble-On, the largest power sports dealership group in the US, CEO of Vance & Hines, where he helped grow and rebrand the company. And before that, he spent 26 years at Harley-Davidson. His time at Harley-Davidson included serving as vice president and managing director of the Americas, in which he oversaw more than 800 dealers across North America and Brazil, leading sales, operations, and dealer support with a focus on long-term growth. So this guy knows motorcycles, knows the business, and even knows Harley's playbook, which could get really interesting. It's almost like Harley trained their own secret agent for 26 years, and now that guy's gone rogue and joined the competition. He knows all the secrets, the playbook, and where the bodies are buried. And let's not forget, Harley-Davidson just brought in a brand new CEO also. So now we've got two heavyweight champs stepping into the ring at the same time. This could turn into one heck of a battle. And honestly, it's going to be fun to watch. And if you haven't yet listened to the Law Abiding Biker podcast, I encourage you to do so. You can listen to it on any major podcast platform. We talk about stuff like this in a lot more depth, and we have a lot of fun doing it. And so with all these massive changes, let's talk about what stays the same. The Indian brand dealer network of over 600 dealers worldwide and manufacturing facilities will all continue to operate as usual. Sales, service, and parts won't be interrupted. Indian riders and dealers probably won't notice much change day to day, at least not right away. The transition is mainly behind the scenes for now. So let's talk about the bigger picture here and why this is happening. The motorcycle industry as a whole is struggling to bring in new riders. We all know that. Both Harley and Indian are facing declining sales among younger generations, and both are trying to adapt with new models, tech, and marketing. Polaris likely looked at the numbers and said, hey, Indian isn't losing money, but it's not our strongest growth area either. So they're betting they can improve profits by letting Indian go independent while keeping a small piece of the pie just in case it takes off. So now I want to share my take and a few of my opinions. So here's where I stand on all this. This could be good for Indian in the long run. Breaking away from Polaris might allow Indian to focus purely on motorcycles, not ATVs, snowmobiles, or boats. They might finally have the room to expand their dealer network and develop more products faster. And their dealer network is always something that they've lacked. It could also be bad though if Carolwood doesn't truly understand the motorcycle industry or if they cut too deep to chase profits. Remember, Polaris is massive. Indian was just another product line among many. Maybe now Indian could get the dedicated leadership and attention it deserves. But if this move fails, it could put Indian on the edge of financial trouble again, something we've seen before in their long history. And I'd say it's a rather bold move, and I get why Polaris is doing it. But only time will tell if this is a rebirth or a risky gamble. I know there's a lot of you that are brand loyalists out there. You either choose Indian or Harley-Davidson. I, on the other hand, support and love all motorcycles and the sport, and there's a reason that both Harley and Indian need to succeed. Remember, competition drives innovation. If one brand disappears, the other gets lazy. Harley has pushed harder because Indian came back strong, and Indian has pushed harder because Harley's always leading the pack. And that competition makes better bikes for all of us riders. So whether you bleed orange and black or love the Indian heritage, we should want both brands to succeed because it keeps the entire American motorcycle scene alive. So what do you think? Is Indian Motorcycle about to take off and finally become a powerhouse again? Or is this the beginning of the end? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading them. And if you want to stay up to date as this story unfolds, make sure to hit that subscribe button because you can bet we'll be following this closely.
I was a boy with a plan that turned me into a man. And man, I keep winning and winning again. Whoops, I did it again. On business is right where I stand. Never been slipping on sand. And man, I keep winning and winning again. Whoops, I did it again. I was a boy with a plan that turned me into a man.